Hey guys, welcome to another video. So as you can see, last time since we installed the Anderson Composite hood, we have added the track spec hood vent to get more airflow out from the radiator. So as you can see there, you can look right down into the back of the radiator and the front of the engine. So that's a perfect spot to get all that hot air out from the engine bay. And also on the first pass down the racetrack, I broke a belt, one of the Gates RPMs belt, and it actually cracked the hood right here in this area. So it was actually a perfect opportunity to repair that and add some ventilation to the stock style hood from Anderson Composites. Still holding up very well, as you can see. It is ceramic coated, which I highly recommend for any of their products. Always polish and ceramic coated once receiving it to keep that shine. And today we are going to be installing a set of mirrors from MPR Performance. So these are the stock mirrors. They come on a 2010 to 14 Mustang. Now mine is a 2005 Mustang, so it did not come with those mirrors from the factory. So I had to retrofit these mirrors. You only have to elongate one hole, I believe, on the top to make it fit. And we're actually going to be stepping up to a set of mirrors from MPR Carbon, and here they are. So they are beautiful. It is a all carbon piece. It is not, a plastic panel with carbon on top. It is actually all made from carbon. So it is one nice piece, that's for sure. Now you do have to transfer over some of your original parts, like that panel that goes there on the bottom, your mirrors, the actual mirror glass, the motor, everything is just a shell. So everything has to be transferred over. So we're going to work on that today and get everything moved over. I'll show you right now how it comes in the box. So when you receive your package from MPR Carbon, it's going to look something like this. It's very well packaged. There's paper, bubble wrap, foam, and everything to protect it. Here's the other mirror. It's very well protected. So, whenever Manny ships something out, he always goes above and beyond to make sure that it is well protected on his journey from Las Vegas, Nevada to wherever in the country you happen to be located. So I'm in Texas, so it's not that far of a ride, but if you're in New York or Florida, it's definitely not going to get damaged anywhere between Las Vegas and wherever your destination is. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do when installing these carbon fiber mirrors is you're going to need to start disassembling the mirror itself. So first things first, you're going to need to remove the glass or the mirror itself. And the way you do that is there are little clips, as you can see, that hold it onto the motor. So you have to get in there with the pick and kind of detach these clips. It's going to be a little hard. You got to work. I started from this side and I worked my way around. I was able to slowly detach it, and eventually I was able to get the mirror itself off. So you just got to do it slowly, work your way around, and you'll be able to take the mirror itself out, the mirror glass. And it's actually a little easier if you take off this plastic cover. If your mirror has a separate painted cover, you can take that part off, and you can get to the clips from the back side and in order to take it apart. Once you have that off, you're going to have to go inside the car and remove the 3 bolts that hold the mirror on. Okay, so to access the bolts for the inside of the mirror, you're going to want to remove this interior mirror cover right here. And it's pretty easy to remove. You just go ahead and pop it off like so. And there's a single connector. I'm try to do this with one hand here. There we go. And it just comes right off. And you can set that aside. And the bolts are right there to hold the mirror cover on, and you have also a single connector which you'll need to remove. And those 3 bolts will come off and the mirror will come off as well. Okay, so I went ahead and popped off the plastic rivets that were holding on this bracket to this main body of the mirror. So this main bracket is all one piece and it goes through the mirror and holds the motor on. So you have to break off these little plastic rivets on here in order for this main bracket to come off. And then once you have those plastic rivets popped, you can start undoing the screws for the motor. And then the electrical connector will be right here on the back of the motor, and we'll disconnect that next. So now that the motor is removed, you can see this connector. It just has some pins that slide into the motor. And now you can see the 2 screws that are holding the bracket to this plastic housing. Once those 2 screws are out, we're going to be able to slide this whole housing out. Through the hole in the bottom, we remove this plastic piece that goes here. We're going to be able to slide it all out and put it onto the carbon mirror housing. Okay, so I got the bracket, the main bracket, back into the new mirror, so you can kind of see where those original plastic welds were that I was able to remove with the wire cutters, and where it sits into the new piece. Everything fits so well. It was like putting it back into an original part. And here you can see where the tabs slide into these mounting. You can see where the tabs go into those recessed areas on the mirror, and everything fits in there perfectly. So we're going to put those screws in there. I'm going to remove the backing on the 2-sided tape and stick it on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some epoxy on those just for good measure to make sure that it does not come loose. Okay, so I was able to get the main bracket installed, so you can see where those 2 screws go through, the brackets that are pre-molded into the carbon housing. So they attach straight to that bracket that says LH for left hand. And then you can see how it fits on the inside where it bolts to the car. And then I reattached the plastic piece that went on the original mirror. So this is what covers the hole that allows you to snake this part into the housing. So if that hole wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to get this piece through. So I know it's plastic, but it's better than having a hole at the bottom. So the original plastic piece fits in there very nicely. You're never really gonna see it because it's under the mirror. It's not really exposed unless someone goes under, lays down next to your car and looks at the bottom side of the mirror. So, but it fits very well. So, there's hardly any gap anywhere. It's a very tight fit, so it just fits very, very nicely. So next step is going to be reinstalling the motor. The motor reinstalls onto those 3 tabs that are molded into the plastic bracket. And we're going to reinstall that right now. Okay, so I got the motor bolted down and the wiring connector reconnected. It's very simple. It just snaps in place and make sure the wires are facing towards the motor. So they actually should be facing this way. So I reattached the 3 screws. There's one there, and one there. Very easy. They're T10 Torx bits. You just tighten them to their snug, and that's it. It's threaded into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten it. Next, the mirror glass is ready to be reinstalled, and it's just going to snap into place. So there's an alignment tab right here, and it's just going to go directly and snap onto that motor right there with those locking tabs that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall that, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Okay, so last step in assembling the mirrors is we're going to need to epoxy these tabs onto the main bracket to hold it all together. I've already installed the glass. I didn't film that part because it was really easy. It all just snaps onto the motor. It's a lot easier to put it on than it is to take it off. So it literally just pushes into place, you kind of work it, the tabs snap on, and you're good to go. So As you can see, the glass fits really well inside the housing. It's the same shape and size as the original. So now I'm just mixing up some epoxy. I'm using JB Weld plastic bonder to basically bond this plastic or this carbon housing to this plastic bracket here. So I'll show you that in a second. Alright, so now I have the plastic bonding already done. So I went ahead and put plastic bond on 3 tabs just like it was originally. So on the original parts it had a plastic weld there, and then a plastic weld up here and right there, and that tab was originally just blank. There was no plastic welding on it. So I wanted to make it just like the original part. I could put plastic weld on there, but I don't think it really needs it. It's already got 3 points where it's bonded to the carbon housing, so it should be okay just like that. And it has this 2-sided tape on here, but you kind of see the gap in between, so if I were to peel the tape, it wouldn't do any good because it's not going to be contacting anything. So right there, the bracket is bolted into the housing inside the mirror itself. So that's just going to help support it all and give it some more strength. Once this is dry, we'll be ready to put the foam back on, which this is the foam that goes on it, and be ready to install it back on the car. And here is the final result once it is all installed. So I have both the driver and the passenger installed. Here's the driver's side. Very good fitment, as you can see, along the weather strip. I did add a shim or a washer to the bottom stud because there was a tiny bit of gap here at the top, but with that washer, it cleaned it up and it has a very nice fitment all across. Same thing on the back side, very nice fitment. Around the mirror is already adjusted to where I sit in the car, so that's why it's angled like that. You can see the weave pattern come and wrap around the edges of the mirror. Looks very, very nice. Doesn't look unfinished or have any rough edges on it. Very good quality. I will end up giving it a light polish and ceramic coating it, but for no ceramic coating or polishing, it looks very, very nice. So the clear coat is immaculate, and it has a very, very nice finish on it. Coming over here to the passenger side, you can see the Anderson Composite hood again. You see the same thing, very nice finish and fitment all the way up. Same thing, you can really see how this mirror is adjusted. You can see the carbon inside the pocket for the mirror. So it is not unfinished on the inside, it is fully finished all the way around. So that way when people walk by it, they don't see rough carbon or sand marks or anything. It's all finished here on the inside, which is a very good detail. So, and even you can see the reflection on the mirror. You see the carbon on the reflection of the mirror. Very, very nice. But overall, very good quality, very good fitment. I did add a washer here on the bottom as well. Same thing, it had a little gap here, but with the washer here to shim it and push the mirror out a little bit, it fits perfect. Now the fitment issues I had, which were very minor, could have been caused by the fact that this is the 2005 Mustang, and these mirrors are made for 2010 to 14 Mustangs. So these mirrors are not even made for this car, and they still fit very well. So I actually had to modify the doors themselves and drill new holes so that way it would fit correctly. So for a mirror that's not even meant to fit to this car, it actually fits very, very well. So that is my review and installation of these MPR carbon mirrors. Hopefully you guys like them, and we'll see you on the next one.